The most dangerous person in a friend group isn't the bully. It's the one everyone trusts. The quiet one who listens more than he speaks.
This matcha latte is incredible.
You have to try the cheesecake too.
The one people vent to. Because once someone becomes the emotional center of the group, they control the oxygen. And when you control the oxygen, you decide who breathes. Stay until the end, and you'll understand the single rule that governs every social circle. The rule most people never see. But once you do, friend groups stop looking like friendships and start looking like systems. Friend groups appear chaotic. Inside jokes, random conversations, messy emotional dynamics. But underneath that noise is structure, a network. And every network has nodes. Most people operate as peripheral nodes. They interact with whoever happens to be around. But the most powerful person becomes the central node, the hub. All information flows through them. This is where triangulation begins. Triangulation is simple. Instead of people communicating directly, they communicate through you. Did Jake say anything about the party? Do you think Sarah was upset yesterday? Now you are the bridge, the interpreter, the translator of emotions. And once you're the hub, you control the narrative. You don't lie outright. That would expose you. Instead, you filter. You soften some messages. You exaggerate others. Jake didn't seem mad, just confused. Sarah sounded disappointed. Tiny adjustments, small emotional calibrations. But every calibration moves the group. Within weeks, something strange happens. Nobody knows what's really happening anymore, except you. Because every conversation passed through you first. At that moment, the friend group stops being a circle and becomes a hub and spoke system, where removing the hub collapses everything.
Once you're the information hub, the second mechanism begins: selective inclusion. Most people assume status inside a group comes from charisma. It doesn't. It comes from scarcity. You start small, a private conversation, a quiet joke shared with one person, a message sent to only 2 members. Now something subtle happens. The people included feel chosen. The people excluded feel curious. Curiosity becomes anxiety. Humans are extremely sensitive to social fuel, attention, validation, inclusion. When someone receives it, loyalty rises. When someone is starved of it, they begin chasing it. You don't reject people openly. That creates resistance. Instead, you create micro-distance. Slower replies, less eye contact, shorter responses. Nothing obvious. But emotionally, the signal is loud. Now watch what happens. People start competing for your attention. Not consciously, but behaviorally. They laugh harder. They seek your approval. They align with your opinions. Because your attention became a resource. And resources create hierarchies. At this stage, you're no longer part of the group. You're managing it.
At this point, the group thinks they're choosing you. In reality, they're responding to signals you created.
Now comes the subtle layer: atmospheric control. This is where power becomes invisible. Start with positioning. Where you sit changes perception. Head of the table, center of the couch, standing while others sit. These positions create psychological gravity. People look toward the center, even when they don't notice. Next comes the 3-second pause. When someone asks you a question, don't answer immediately. Wait. 1 second, 2 seconds, 3. Then speak calmly. That pause signals cognitive dominance. It tells the group your response required consideration, not reaction. Finally comes semantic weaponization. Imagine 5 friends planning a weekend trip. One person suggests a location, another disagrees. The conversation becomes messy. Now watch the person controlling the group. He doesn't argue, he waits. Then he says calmly, "Let's think about this for a second." Everyone stops talking. He reframes the problem. "We just need somewhere everyone can relax." Suddenly, the group aligns with his suggestion, not because it was better, but because he controlled the moment of decision. Most people speak emotionally. You speak structurally. Instead of saying, "That's a bad idea," you say, "That plan has a structural weakness." Instead of, "I don't like that," you say, "That creates unnecessary friction." Most manipulation fails because it's obvious. The effective kind looks like normal conversation. Structured language signals intelligence, and groups naturally defer to perceived intelligence. Soon, every disagreement ends the same way. People look to you, not because you demanded authority, but because the atmosphere points to you. And once a group seeks your judgment, power becomes automatic. Now we arrive at the rule that governs every social circle, the forbidden law. Social groups are not democracies. They are ecosystems. And every ecosystem organizes around control of attention. The loudest person rarely controls the group. The funniest person rarely controls it. The strongest personality rarely controls it. The person who controls attention flow does. They decide who gets validated, who gets ignored, who gets defended, who gets isolated. Once you see this pattern, friend groups stop feeling emotional. They start feeling mechanical, predictable, configurable. And the person who understands the mechanics doesn't chase influence. They simply adjust the system and watch the group reorganize around them. Because the final truth of social power is simple. Control the information, control the attention, and the group will quietly organize around you without ever realizing it. Most people spend their lives inside social systems they don't understand. They think they're making choices, but they're just responding to invisible pressures. Once you learn to see the structure, you stop being controlled by it. If you want to understand the hidden mechanics behind power, influence, and human behavior, subscribe. Because the people who recognize the system are the ones who control it.